Here's a pterodactyl, which is a flying dinosaur, a triceratops, which is a vegetarian dinosaur, and a T-Rex, which is the most dangerous and deadly dinosaur. Dinosaurs took a massive L and went extinct, so it's time to introduce the earliest humans to exist. Ooga booga! But they only knew basic things like how to hunt, make a fire, make clothing, make tools, and make basic shelters, so I'm gonna go ahead and build one out of stone. Start with Egypt, which began over 5,000 years ago. It was known for pyramids, pharaohs, and elaborate palaces, which I'm gonna recreate in Lego, so I'm gonna add some hieroglyphs to the wall, a golden throne to seat a pharaoh, a queen, 2 servants to defend the palace and serve food, and finally a snake charmer. Oh yeah, I never mentioned I added a booby trap. While Egypt was one of the first civilizations to exist, China was another major civilization, known for their paper, silk, gunpowder, noodles, the Great Wall of China to protect their territory, and Kung Fu, an ancient sport that taught self-defense and combat. I'm gonna build a dojo in Lego with 2 students and a very wise sensei to train them. Fight! On the opposite side of the world, in the continent of South America, was the Mayan civilization, so I'm gonna build it in Lego. Yes! They actually invented popcorn, burritos, and chocolate. Chocolate was so popular that the Mayans actually used it as money. Meanwhile, the Indian civilization invented yoga, the number system, and toilets. They look like this. So let's attempt to build one in Lego. But does it work? Yes, it does. There was also the Greek civilization, and they invented the Olympics, a series of competitive athletic events like there was foot racing, horse racing, boxing, wrestling, long jump, javelin, and discus. But the most powerful of all civilizations was the Roman Empire. They were known for their magnificent architecture, advanced government, and the strongest military in the world with highly trained soldiers and advanced weaponry like catapults. But in the year 476, Rome was attacked by barbaric tribes and collapsed. But shortly after, a new society would take its place. Now we enter medieval times. I just got a special package in the mail, and it has some important people we're gonna need. Alright, come out, boys. Now, medieval Europe was a 1,000-year period known for kings who ruled the land, knights who protected the land, and peasants who worked the land. There were also castles, which were massive fortifications used to protect the king. So I'm gonna go ahead and build one in Lego, adding a few watchtowers, a jester to entertain guests, then we can add our knights, and most importantly, every castle needs a king. So here he is, and we don't have a name for him, so I'm just gonna call him the Burger King.
Yes, sir.
Now, despite all the castles, knights, and kings, Europe was actually very poor during this time period, because peasants made 85% of the population. Some people had to steal to make money and survive, and these people were known as Vikings. They were warriors that explored the sea to conquer and plunder coastal towns. And to travel, they used these boats called longboats, which were double-ended, meaning they could move in either direction. So they were extremely maneuverable and very effective for battle. After 1,000 years of medieval times, we enter a new chapter of history where music, art, and literature began to flourish across Europe. This became known as the Renaissance. Was also making major discoveries during this time. This is Christopher Columbus, who was an explorer that traveled across the Pacific Ocean and discovered the continent of North America. And with such a discovery, people from across the world were coming here to make a new home, explore, trade, or to steal. And the people to do that were pirates. Pirates were known to travel by sea and plunder major trade routes going to North America for gold, weapons, food, and resources.
Runneth thy pocket.
They were also known for attacking coastal towns, so I went ahead and built a tiny fort on an island, armed with cannons and French soldiers. So we're gonna let them go to battle, and we're gonna see who wins. Okay, well, it looks like the pirates took that W. And while pirates were robbing people, others were exploring the inmost regions of North America. This was known as the Wild West, a time when pioneers searched the western region of the continent for its land and natural resources. It was known for cowboys, outlaws, Native Americans, and western towns, which I'm gonna recreate in Lego. I'm gonna start by constructing a salon, which was a town building that provided meals and entertainment to people. Next to it, I'm gonna add a drinking station for horses, and every western town had a jail, so I'm gonna go ahead and build one. That way we can lock up any criminals. And there you go. This is what old American western towns would have looked like during the 1800s. At this time, the world was quickly advancing in science and technology, and this became the Industrial Revolution. There were a lot of things invented during this time. For example, the first train was invented in 1804. That train low-key looking sus though. The first camera was invented in 1816, and this allowed people to document important people, places, and events. Dynamite was invented in 1866. In 1876 was the typewriter, and this allowed people to write way quicker. The same year, the phone was invented, and it made communicating way easier. The light bulb was invented in 1879, so that's pretty lit. The first car was invented in 1886, and at the time, people used horses to get around, so this pretty much eliminated